I've asked Alice Weingartner with the Health Agency to get us started this morning with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. We are here on January 15th, 2015 for the meeting of Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I represent District 2. To my left is Commissioner Bob Archer, who represents District 3. Thank you.
Good start.
Yeah. However, stop the rolling
We
start.
have two choices.
And that would leave to my right Commissioner Shelley Bueller with District 1.
Good morning.
So, Madam
morning.
Clerk, if we could get started with the first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers total $984,268.70. And our holding accounts, compensating use tax collection and then repayment, payment out of that, that is about $402,529.28. Second, our allocations, predominantly $183,000 for AMR, and then several pages for juror pay. So that makes up the bulk of the vouchers, and with that I move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
No second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bueller.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item A3, acknowledge receipt of a revised petition of attachment of lands to Rural Water District Number 1, Jackson County, and set the hearing date of January 29th, 2015 at 9 a.m. Commissioners, this is statutorily the commission, even though it is not our rural water district, we have an obligation to hold the public hearing, and this has been before us before, but there was a little bit of a glitch in it. Everything is okay, and Gary Hansen is here. He is the attorney representing the parties that want to be joined in Rural Water District Number 1. If you have any questions, however, all we're here really for is just to set the hearing date,
So,
time and date.
if I understand correctly, on January 29th, then we would have a further discussion regarding joining the Jackson County Rural Water District
Yes.
Number 1.
And Mr. Hansen will be here at that time for any questions.
And if there's anybody who's in favor of or opposed to, they would have the opportunity to appear on January the 29th to voice those concerns to the county commission. Is there any other discussion regarding setting the hearing date for January the 29th?
No, I'll move to acknowledge receipt of the petition and set the public hearing for January 29th at 9 a.m.
Second.
Second, motion made by Commissioner Bueller to set the hearing date on the revised petition for January the 29th, seconded by Commissioner Bob Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item.
Item B, Audit Finance, number 1, consider approval of request to appropriate all non-allocated county transient guest tax funds to the Kansas Expo Center for fiscal year 2015.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. This is regarding our transient guest tax, and I've received a request from the Kansas Expo Center to receive the non-allocated portion of our transient guest tax. There is a portion that is allocated to the Sunflower Soccer. This is the only request I have received for these funds, so I am asking for your approval to appropriate all of the non-allocated county transient guest tax funds to the Expo Center. In the past, they have used this for marketing, and I believe that will be the use in the future also.
Do we have an idea of the amount we're talking about?
For 2014, the total amount was $53,390. $7,627 of that went to the Sunflower Soccer League, and $45,762 went to the Expo Center.
Okay. And of the remainder amount that we would be transferring to the Expo Center, does this get placed into their general operating fund? Is it designated? Is there a special, any ties to it, or is it just as they may see fit?
We pay out an allocation to them on a quarterly basis as we receive the transient guest tax in. I'm not sure how they account for it on their end.
HR Cook, General Manager, Expo Center. It goes into our marketing fund, separate fund, so that it can be tracked. It's not used for operational purposes. It's used for marketing. In the past, it's been used for marketing and also for, to help acquire other events like NAI Wrestling. We used it last year to enhance our production for the Blizzard Bash Demolition Derby. This year, we anticipate, with the international horseshoe pitchers coming in, we anticipate some of that money going towards making sure that they're taken care of.
And that's world famous Blizzard Bash.
World famous. It is. You have to be number one at something. We're number one at that. Demolition derbies.
Is there any further discussion regarding this item? Is there a motion regarding transference of the remainder of the guest transient tax funds to the Expo Center?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C, Sheriff's Office, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-22-2015 with Carmichael Business Systems for annual maintenance of interview rooms recording software in the amount of $5,350.
Good morning, Commissioners. Captain Hubler with the Sheriff's Office. This is the maintenance agreement for our interview rooms recording system. We've had it since early 2009, and just general maintenance of that recording system that's critical to our investigations. Be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
The only question I had, I know that this is software that we've had this maintenance agreement for a number of years. This is equipment we've had for a number of years. Over the last several years, there's been increases with technology, digital formatting. Is the Sheriff's Office looking at changing any of the cameras or upgrading any of the equipment that we have in the interview rooms in the upcoming future?
We have looked at that for the last couple of years about the possibility of updating. It's not something that we will be able to complete this year.
So we might look at that as we talk about the 2016 budget process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I know the commander of investigations has expressed a concern that we need to update that. There's a lot of discussions in regards to a lot of our recording systems and trying to integrate them more and have them talk to each other, for lack of a better way to put it. So we're looking at some options there as well.
Okay. And I think that's just good comment for not just the Sheriff's Office, but all department heads, that as we have items that we make expenditures on, if maybe we're looking at the 2016 budget now, budget's not just something that happens in August, but it should be a year-long event that we look forward to what are our upcoming expenses. Is there any other discussion regarding this request?
Move to approve the contract.
Motion to approve the contract by Commissioner
No,
Bueller,
second.
seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of a project budget in a total amount of $591,760 for the construction of the Southeast Tecumseh Road Bridge over Stinson Creek.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Black with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item, and a few meetings ago, the Commission approved the awarding of some design projects for 3 different bridges to 3 different firms. This is one of those projects, and this is the next step in which we've had some discussions with the consultant that has been selected for this particular project. So we've developed or finalized what we believe the budget will be, and total budget, as mentioned, is $591,760. Construction estimate right now is about $438,000. the remaining being contingencies, design and construction engineering, right-of-way acquisition, and utility relocation. The funding for this project would be 100% from the current countywide sales tax. So if there's any questions, or actually, and also one last thing, intent would be to have the plans developed, right-of-way purchased and acquired this year, with utilities being relocated toward the end of this year, and then construction being done in 2016. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Tom, about how long does it take to construct the bridge generally? I mean,
Typically, probably around 6 months on an average bridge.
okay. Is there any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the project budget.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer to approve the project budget, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item E, Emergency Management Number 1, consider approval of Resolution Number 2015-3, authorizing the Director of Emergency Management to destroy Tier 2 records dating from January 1989 to December 2011.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Sturbins, Emergency Management. We were cleaning the office the other day, and there's just way too many old files that we really don't have any need for, and they need to be destroyed. And so I was advised by staff that he did the checking on legality, and so we're asking permission to send them to the shredder.
The cost for this is,
For shredding,
yes,
however long it takes the staff member to shove it through the paper shredder.
okay,
Yeah, we're not sending them out.
all right. I just, the reason I ask is I know that there are nonprofit agencies such as TARC
Yes.
that do offer shredding services for free. There are other agencies that offer that, and as opposed to tying up our man hours and our time in using this, it may be better served for us to use other services so that your people are still working on their appointed tasks.
I'll check on that. I did ask the county clerk, I thought they had one of those containers and they paid to have shredding done, so I was just gonna sneak ours into theirs, but she said they don't have that, so I will check on TARC. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion made to approve the resolution as presented by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Next item.
Item E2, consider adoption and implementation of the Emergency Operation Plan for Shawnee County.
Commissioners, emergency management, one of our tasks and responsibilities is to keep a emergency operating plan for this county, for this entire community. And so we came up on our 5-year renewal, and the state standards changed. They adopted a whole new standard, the way they wanted it done, kind of on the format with what we did for the COOP plan. And unlike our last emergency operating plan, where I was told that the cost was over $25,000 to have a contractor do it, we did this task totally inside the county with staff and with our emergency support function partners from the other agencies, and I'll introduce some of those people pretty soon. The new operating plan better addresses our response procedures, our capabilities, our recovery phases, activation phases, and better lays out how we do the operation should we work on major events, incidents, or accidents in Shawnee County. So it's a lot bigger plan than what before, and it is an all-hazard plan, so it's not just for hazardous materials or tornadoes. It's basically for all types of hazards, so it makes us much better. It says that it's a greater emphasis is placed on representing and engaging the entire community. So again, it's more than just us. I think this plan starts in a lot of places where the old plan stopped. We were late getting this plan done. It should have been done last year, but again, There's a lot of information that needs to be gathered, and it requires information from a lot of other agencies and departments that, again, it takes them time to gather their information too. So I'm very pleased with this plan. The staff is very pleased with this plan. We did work with one plan writer who's just a friend, a volunteer for our department who does this professionally. Her name was Susan Belt. She advised Scott quite a bit and gave us ideas and directions, so that saved us some money and helped us. But over and all, the plan is done. It is a fluid plan. It's very easy to change and alter as things change, especially in the emergency support functions. As people change, as duties change, as other things change, it's easy for us to go in and make the changes to those, which is why we have meetings at least once a quarter with all of our emergency support function partners in the EOC, and we do those meetings. With that, I'd like to introduce my staff this morning: Dusty Nichols, Scott Garcia, Nelson Castile, Scott Steele are here. Kevin Flory, who's one of our part-timers, was on duty today and couldn't make it with us. One of our other major partners is Aaron Mahan from the Sheriff's Office. He's very important to us. I'd also like to introduce my counterpart, Jim Green, who is the City of Topeka Emergency Management Director. And the new guy from the police department, Ed Keller, who is also assigned to emergency management, and having worked with Ed before, is going to be a great partner working with us. So thank you all very much for doing this. I'll stand for any questions.
Dave, I know that this said 5 years has been the last time since we updated the plan. And do you find that now that you're making significant changes from the last 5 years, this is said more fluid, is this something that you anticipate will just not sit for 5 years but be able to change and update it so that 5 years from now we're not saying, well, what happened in the last 5 years?
We actually, from the time I sent this to the county councilor to look at, there were a couple of things, for example, that were a little outdated that we didn't change the dates. For example, part of it had a 2006, which did not reflect the current census information. This is a very fluid document. This is a personal document for us. Before, we just had this template that we used that basically was everybody had the same one that used this particular contractor, and they just changed the words and stuff like that. This is a personal document. It was written by us, for us, and to be used by us.
But also in conjunction with working with the City of Topeka, Topeka Police Department, Shawnee County Sheriff, all different agencies and bodies working together on this document.
Well, that's because every one of those agencies helped us to put this plan together, and they all have a very important piece in it. So it's not just emergency management. This is the entire community's document to work from.
Are there any other questions or discussions?
Just a point of clarification, the City of Topeka doesn't submit a separate emergency operation plan. This, the City of Topeka is included in this plan.
Yes.
And why is that?
Because we're all partners. We're all in the same community. When we have a major event, and say that the event is totally inside the City of Topeka, it's Jim's, it's Ed's event, but then as the county, we assist them with their event, and then if it becomes an event where they run out of resources, we run out of resources, then it goes from the city to myself through the commissioners for our declaration, and then to the state. So we have channels that we have to follow.
Okay,
Yeah.
glad
Yeah, we
you
have to
made
work
that-
together, yes.
Well, I'm glad you made that point, but, this is something that's continually improving, between the continuity of operations and emergency support functions, and all levels of government having that training, us included as commissioners. And I know I've asked you, I need to do a refresher course on my training, because there's different levels of training for everybody. So, I think we need to wholeheartedly support this and make sure that for all levels of Shawnee County are prepared for whatever may happen.
Yeah. I've already had conversation with Commissioner Cook. I've had emails and conversations with Ms. Greiner. I've sent emails to all the department heads to see where we're at with our ICS training, incident command training, and what we need to do to bring people up to make them comfortable. Because there are requirements that we have to do, just like this document, to continue to get our federal grants. So, there's other reasons just besides this is the good thing to do and it helps us, but also it's part of our requirements. So we will be working on that and bringing more forward. Along the same lines, we are starting by the end of this month, first of next month, on updating the continuity of operations plans that we had done a couple of years ago. And now with some of the changes with the department head levels and the way we're doing things in the county, we'll be updating our continuity of government and basically what is our, I lost the word, organizational chart for the county, how that looks and how that works to update our plans.
Good.
I will support the adoption of the emergency operations plan and we move for its approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you, commissioners, and all my partners.
Next item.
Item F, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-23-2015 with Golf Now for online tee time reservation service with no cost to the county and a savings of $3,800 per year for 4 reservation software, $8,000 per year in website services, and a one-time savings of $2,500 for the black box server at Forbes Golf Course.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. As the clerk just read, this is the company that we have contracted with for many years to provide us website services, online tee time services, those type of things at the Lake Shawnee and Cypress Ridge Golf Course. We hadn't ever included Forbes because the economic payoff to that just kind of prevented us from going that way with it. But we are given this opportunity here to have none of those out-of-pocket costs going forward, have all of that equipment, not pay the contract prices in exchange for them selling tee times at our golf courses. That was a little bit of a hindrance when we first began looking at that, but once they agreed to allow Austin Tillman and Kerry Golden to define when those tee times are, we were a lot more comfortable with that. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Is there any questions regarding this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-24-2015 with the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, allowing Parks and Recreation to publicly play musical compositions in the ASCAP repertory for a cost of $1,740. Commissioners,
this is an ongoing contract that we entered into several years ago. The annual fee for this is $1,740. It's established by the population of our community. Since that population of our community changed since last year, the amount changed. So I've come down here and to present this item in front of you. We do play these at different special events, at our aquatic centers, those type of things. We did look at one alternative, but recording Randy Luby's rendition of John Denver's Rocky Mountain High and playing that, I think would severely diminish our participation in some of the events. So this allows us to play something cool.
John, and this is a very standard contract.
It is.
And it's used for all licensed music.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Just a comment. In order to play music at the pools, we have to have
Yes.
this contract.
Yes.
Is this one of two, or does this cover everything? Or this covers everything?
This just covers this one.
Oh, okay, this just covers this one. So then there is another, Randy?
Come up here, just don't sing Rocky Mountain High for me.
Yeah.
I have that on 8-track, by the way. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. We do have there's 2 BMI as well as CSAC. Am I saying that right? I think it's SEC. And we have an invoice for it already.
Okay.
It's an agreement that's already been paid. They just sent us an invoice, and I think it's on my desk as we speak. But that covers all music. Each one of the groups cover about 95% of the music, but you just don't know that extra 5. So by all 3, we're covered with everything.
Okay, good.
Any other discussion?
Make a motion to approve the contract.
Motion to approve the contract by
Second.
Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Item G, Health Agency. Number 1, consider approval of request to apply for funding from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for GIS training for surveillance and prevention activities specific to heart disease, stroke, and other chronic diseases.
Good morning, Commissioners. Misty Kruger, Health Agency. Before you is our application for the GIS funding. This project would allow us to work with other health departments, including the Lawrence Douglas County Health Department, Wyandotte County, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, as well as the Kansas Health Institute. Monies from this program would be used to address any software and hardware needs that we would need at the health agency in regards to GIS programs, as well as training for our staff, which would have 2 teams, a core team that would attend training and then an expanded team that we would bring back that training and train them as well. This is a terrific opportunity for our local health department to engage in the work if we are selected to receive it. Not only does it directly impact the work of the Community Health Improvement Plan that's currently going on in our community, but it also directly falls in line with the agency's strategic plan in enhancing our community health outreach programs. So I would be happy to attempt to answer questions that you might have.
I know that Misty, in talking with Ms. Alejos, she indicated that what we're doing is being able to work with our own GIS department. I see Steve Bauman, interim appraiser, who has a GIS department, but being able to work with our GIS departments to help further the impact of the health agency, and this is training for that.
Exactly. So we have reached out to both the appraiser's office as well as county IT to make sure that they were in support of this project. But while we have appraising, the appraiser has a GIS person or people. At the health agency, we do not, and there's so much health work that goes on in the community that if we had a map of health disparities in our community, and then we could overlay, okay, here's where the bus routes go, here's where bike paths are, here's where policy work is being done, and where are we missing those health disparities, especially in regards to heart disease and stroke, we could duplicate that work as well.
I just wanted to add that the appraiser's office with the Steve Bauman, county appraisers, we support this request. I have spoken with our new GIS coordinator and confirmed that this would not be a significant drain on the department. It would be a support role. The health department would have their own GIS core team members that would attend the training, and training issue is going to be the huge time consumption in this project.
And this allows us to enhance the data and resources that we already have so that they would be able to enhance the services provided by the health agency.
Absolutely. I think this would be a valuable use of GIS, and we have a terrific base layer for them to start with, so I think it will work well together.
Just a follow-up, so all the information gathered would be public domain then? It would be on our website at some point in regards to these issues on population health, basically, then?
Yeah.
Would it not? It would be on our website?
We could put it on the health agency's website if nothing else, but it would all be public knowledge of what's going on, and as we start to redo the community health needs assessment,
Right.
it would guide right into that work as well, and that's all public information.
Good, okay, thanks.
Commissioner Archer.
Oh, I was just going to say, I read the information, but I'm not sure exactly what we're going to learn if we implement this.
So basically, it would provide training for our staff, and those staff members have been identified in the application on how to use GIS. It would allow us to actually get GIS capabilities at the health department, the software needs that we would have for that. But then it would allow us to start tracking data in a very visual manner into the mapping to say, we actually use GIS with the Safe Routes to School grant. It's a great example of public health using it, where we showed the entire school district and said, here's where the sidewalks are broken, here's where there's abandoned houses, here's what's preventing children from walking and biking to school, which is a huge health issue in our community. So by being able to document health disparities, so we can correlate it to income levels, we can correlate it to education levels, just backing up documentation that people who make under a certain general dollar amount tend to have higher health issues. How do we start to address that in our community? We know obesity is an issue in our community, so how do we correlate where those health disparities are within Shawnee County in regards to the work that's going on, and what are we missing? What populations are we missing, and where are we missing those populations?
But what's the ultimate payoff?
to be able to track that and help guide the policy work that's going on. Public health is all about policy and environmental changes. So if we know this sector of town has no policy work going on and they have high health disparities, we have an issue, and we're not addressing the needs of that particular neighborhood or sector of our community. So it helps guide us in where we need to be going, but it also helps community partners. It helps bring gardening. It helps bring farmers markets. Where are they missing in our community? Where is access to healthy foods not available in our community? Those types of things to help the policy work and the environmental changes that need to take place.
How does this work with the city's map of high-cost
crime.
areas, high-crime areas, other areas, the blues, the reds?
How
does
I
that
am not
overlay?
familiar with their program that they're using or that type of thing, but it would correlate right into that. Crime would be an issue in public health, so we could correlate health disparities right in line with their maps that they have, but I couldn't speak to in regards to the application.
But I think they've done a lot of research and have a lot of information that we ought to be able to use.
And we have, in like the community health needs assessment, some of that data has been pulled into that work and the health improvement plan, but I couldn't speak specifically to it.
Okay, thank you, Missy.
So this really just allows us to take the data that we already have, data that maybe is in other sources, other communities, or such as the city of Topeka or the appraiser's office, and being able to coordinate all of those to a directed purpose.
It does, and it also will expand on the chronic disease issues that really probably are not mapped anywhere. So where are those high health disparities in our community, and correlate it exactly back to other data that we have.
I think this is just another example of GIS and where we haven't utilized it as much as we should. And I think Parks and Recreation is another department that we could do some layers with the master plan. I know John's given me the look, but I think there's potential there. So with that, I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Bueller. All second. Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item H, Commission Number 1, reflect that Commissioner Cook has appointed Karis Mapes to the Expo Center Advisory Board, representing the 2nd Commission District for a 3-year term that expires December 31st, 2017.
I want to take a moment and thank Jennifer Crow. Had been serving on the Expo Center Advisory Board for the last 3 years. I think she's done an excellent job. I think there's some, she works in the legislature. Karis Mapes is a young lady who is living here in Topeka. She works for the Topeka Civic Theater. She puts out the 785 magazine, very involved in the arts and entertainment with Topeka and Shawnee County. I think she'll be a great addition to the Expo Center Advisory Board, and I look to her to bring some fresh ideas to the Expo Center Advisory Board and how we do our programming in the community. So just reflecting my appointment of her to that board. Next item.
Administrative Communications.
Are there any?
Exciting, the day of the expo. Real quick, beginning Monday, we are in partnership. The Expo Center is in partnership with the American Red Cross and Fort Riley to begin a program called Gift the Gowns. I bring this to your attention because Dave Sturbins with Emergency Management is the chair this year for the American Red Cross local chapter, and this was kind of his idea, where many of the soldiers' wives, many soldiers at Fort Riley cannot afford to purchase a gown to go to the formals or many of the activities that take place on base. And through the Red Cross on base at Fort Riley, we are collecting used gowns that anybody has, whether it be wedding gowns, because people do get married on base, formals for proms, or if they're a bridesmaid, and you have them in your closet. If you could bring them, if you want to, you can bring them to the Expo Center administration office between the hours of 8:30 and 5, next Monday through Friday. We will get those to the American Red Cross, where they will take them, have them cleaned, deliver them to the Fort Riley, and also they will be provided not only free of charge to the ladies there, but also etiquette classes and dancing lessons and things for the wives and husbands. So just our little way of doing something for the community, but I also want to thank Dave Sturbins for kind of coming up with the idea.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. With Monday being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we will have a change in our collection schedule with Monday being the holiday. So there'll be no collections on Monday. Our Monday customers will be picked up on Tuesday. Our Tuesday and Wednesday customers will be picked up on Wednesday. And Thursday and Friday customers will have no change. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Earlier this week, we did post all the summer Parks and Rec positions. I know it's only 15 degrees outside, and nothing says I want to be a lifeguard like 15-degree weather, but we do have all those posted. It's kind of early, but it does take us a while to hire all these intermittents. But I would encourage people not to sit on it too long. Usually by the end of March, we are winding this down, so don't wait until spring break to get your children in to apply for positions. You can visit our website, www.snco.us/jobs, to apply for any of these positions and our full-time positions as well.
Thank you, John.
Good morning, Commissioners. This Saturday, we will be kicking off a program at Westridge Mall called Step Forward Kansas in partnership with Making Moves with Chris Omni. It's a free program open to anybody. It's a 6-week exercise program, so there'll be some exercising in the very beginning, and then people can just walk the mall. But just to encourage people to get out, it's open to all county employees and the public. And then it'll happen every Saturday at 9 a.m. at the mall, and then every Monday and Wednesday at 12:15 at the Capitol. So we just encourage anyone interested to come out.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other administrative communications? Commissioner Bueller?
I don't know, I haven't talked with Betty or with Rich about this, but the legislative season has started, and last year, Rich gave us an update from time to time on legislative issues. And is that something that we're going to continue? And I'm just kind of asking the commission. I think it would be important to do that.
I think that it's extremely important, and I think that it would be well received to have updates regularly from the counselor's office, as he acts as our lobbyist, not just for Shawnee County, but also with the Kansas Association of Counties. And so I think that would be very helpful as we maybe proceed during the legislative session, maybe at least on a monthly basis during the legislative process, to have it added on. Commissioner Archer, any thoughts on that, or?
It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Commissioner Archer?
No, good, thank you.
Couple of notes. We had the opportunity as the County Commission to work with the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Topeka, the Topeka Metro, Heartland Visioning, to welcome the legislators to the Capitol on Tuesday. That was a very nice reception, a good opportunity to meet new legislators, see legislators that were returning, and be able to welcome them to the capital city and Shawnee County. Also want to note that you may notice in the hallways that there are now recycling containers by the elevators. Several months ago, we talked about implementing a Shawnee County recycling program in the courthouse. We have been actively doing that. There's also areas for cardboard recycling, just to be able to practice what it is that we put out to everybody else, to step up our recycling in the community. And finally, just to note, there is no commission meeting on Monday. With Martin Luther King Day, the 19th is a holiday. We will not be in session. We will be back on the 22nd. Is there a need, I guess, next item?
Item 6, executive session.
I don't know a need for an executive session. Then we are adjourned.
We're going to go double or nothing?